Welcome to Clarity Currents. I'm Danielle Laura, trusted seer and spiritual advisor. Each week, I share grounded energetic transmissions and insights into the week ahead so you know how to work with the energy rather than in resistance to it and are equipped to create aligned momentum across your business, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, and legacy. This is Clarity Currents episode for the week of August 3rd through the 9th, 2026. Let's dive in. When I tune into the overall energetics of this week, it feels like this current that has two distinct halves. The first asks you to get emotionally honest and look inward, and the second asks you to release what's outdated and lean into fun, connection, and joy. I see a vision of someone recalibrating a compass mid-hike. They're checking that the discipline they've been holding on to for the past year is still actively pointing towards the life they're building, not just this old habit they've outgrown. Early in the week, expect emotional breakthroughs around discipline, what structure genuinely supports the next chapter that you've stepped into over the last year versus what's just leftover obligation. There's also a longer reflection cycle reopening around self-worth, finances, and how you occupy your body. This isn't a weak theme. It's really the start of a deeper unwinding that's going to keep unfolding over the coming weeks and months. So be gentle with yourself as it surfaces. Midweek, anything not aligned with true joy, creativity, and expansion is being spotlighted for release. This is the week to actually act on what you already know needs to go. The back half of the week, energy gets more scattered and social with lots of mental chatter and shifting plans, maybe some chaos in communication. This is not a week to white knuckle through it. Definitely ground yourself, get into nature, and let this whole week be a full reset. Know that what's stirring this week is preparing you for a bigger energetic doorway opening next week. Use this week to get grounded in your foundations so that you're ready. Business for the week of August 3rd. When I tune into the energetics of business this week, the emotional breakthroughs around discipline show up here very directly. Ask yourself, is the structure that I've built around my business actually serving the version that I'm building, or is it a holdover from an earlier chapter that I've already outgrown? I see a vision of someone laying bricks one at a time, unbothered that the wall isn't finished yet because they trust the blueprint. That's the energy to embody in your business goals right now. Small, consistent steps, trusting the timing even when the finished result isn't visible yet. Midweek, look at what in your business no longer sparks real joy, creativity, or expansion. That's the piece to release or redesign, even if it's technically working. Thursday specifically favors this bold follow-through. So if you've identified what needs to change, this is the day to actually act on it rather than keep planning. And toward the end of the week, expect more social and networking energy, but also some scattered communication. Double check details before you send them and don't take any sort of chaos personally. Relationships for the week of August 3rd. Early in the week, there is this invitation for a difficult but necessary conversation with yourself or someone close about what you actually need in order to feel emotionally supported while building the next chapter. Midweek, old wounds around self-worth and values may surface within relationships. And this is less about the other person and more about recognizing where you've been overgiving or undervaluing yourself in the dynamic. I see a vision of a scale slowly balancing itself as relationships are quietly weighted against whether they add fuel to your life or drain it. By the end of the week, there's a natural, graceful rebalancing happening in partnerships and close connections. Towards Friday, the softer, sweeter energy returns to relationships with more harmony, more ease, though it may sit alongside some tension around whether the people closest to you actually support the dreams of the new life you're building or unconsciously pull you back towards the old one. The weekend feels social, but a little bit scattered. Enjoy the connection, but don't force any big relationship decisions into chaos. Especially over the weekend, pay attention to what surfaces in dreams or quiet emotional moments around relationships. There's information there worth sitting with and worth writing down. Health for the week of August 3rd. When I tune into the energetics of health this week, I see a long-term healing cycle reopening around self-worth, embodiment, and how safe you feel in your body. This began a while back, and this week makes a moment of reflection of how far that healing has come and what's still asking for attention. I see a vision of someone stepping back into a home they renovated months ago, walking room to room and noticing what still needs finishing. That's the invitation within your body this week. Check in and see what still needs care after all of the inner work you've done. Midweek, physical or emotional triggers may surface around the worthiness or how you occupy your body. Let it come up rather than pushing through it. Grounding practices are essential this week. Time in nature, movement that reconnects you to your body, anything that gets you out of your head and into your body. By the weekend, mental chatter could get loud, so prioritize quiet and stillness where you can. Sunday is going to be built for rest. Let yourself fully recharge and feel your energy back in before the next week begins. Wealth for the week of August 3rd. When I tune into the energetics of wealth this week, I see this returning invitation to look honestly at old wounds around money. Beliefs around worth, safety, and enough may be resurfacing from a healing journey that you've been on for a while now. I see a vision of someone watering a garden bed that looks like it's bare soil. Nothing visible is sprouted yet, but underground, the roots are forming exactly on that schedule. The message is to be patient. What you want is coming, and every small aligned step you take now is doing more than it looks like on the surface. Midweek, notice if any financial habits or commitments no longer align with real joy or expansion. Those are the things that are ready to be negotiated or released. A prayer for this week could be, show me how good it gets to be. Guide my steps each day so I'm ready to receive when it arrives. Toward the weekend, avoid any sort of impulsive financial decisions made from scattered or chaotic energy. Definitely ground yourself first. Spirituality for the week of August 3rd. When I tune into the energetics of spirituality this week, the theme of divine timing is front and center. Everything you're building has a natural unfolding season, and this is a week to trust that timing rather than to force your own. I see a vision of a farmer standing at the edge of a field in winter, at peace, knowing that the seeds already planted don't need pushing. They need patience and faith until their season arrives. This is a beautiful week to deepen your spiritual practice, ask for guidance on what's actually being asked of you each day, and trust the small steps are being divinely orchestrated when you can't see the whole picture yet. Dreams may be especially active and symbolic this weekend, particularly around relationships and the new life you're building. Keep a journal nearby and pay attention to what surfaces. I sense a bigger energetic doorway opening next week, so use this week to get spiritually grounded and rooted in your practices. You'll want that foundation steady for what's coming. And legacy for the week of August 3rd. I see a vision of someone planting a fruit tree, fully aware that it might not taste its first fruits themselves, but planting it anyway because they trust it will fully mature in its own season. This week asks you to recommit to the chapter you've been building over the past year, checking that your daily discipline is still actually in service of that long vision rather than an old, outgrown structure. Anything you're holding on to out of obligation rather than joy, creativity, or true expansion is worth reconsidering. Legacy isn't built through gritted teeth, it's built through the aligned, sustained actions. Small, consistent steps taken this week matter more than they appear to. Trust the process even when the reward isn't visible yet. There you have it, Hot Soul, your intuitive forecast for the week. Wishing you a week of patience, joy, and divine timing. That's what's moving collectively this week. If you want to know exactly what's happening in your chart, in your design, and the specific day you're walking into with the exact moves to actually make, that's what I built Evolve AI for. Come join us and start your 7-day free trial at fullyevolve.ai. I'll see you there. Until next week.